Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. So, little afternoon surprise show for you guys and gals as Rob Demovsky was on the Wildy and Tao show earlier today. We've heard Wildy talk about it. Seems like Matt LaFleur is very interested in interviewing Jim Leonhard. Now, Rob Demovsky has come out and made a comment today that really kind of sparks, I don't know, makes you really perk your ears up a little bit like, okay, maybe there's some real smoke to this fire with Jim Leonhard potentially being the next defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. We're going to dive into all of that, exactly what Rob Demovsky said on Wildy and Tausch. We'll also talk about a little bit of Jim Leonhard's background if you're new here to kind of give you an idea of the type of coach you're looking to get, what he's done here recently, so on and so forth. Before we get into it, if you would do that YouTube stuff for me, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your afternoon with this surprise stream. This is what you get with Packers Total Access. When news breaks, we go live immediately and kind of give you guys an update on what's going on around the Green Bay Packers. We go live pretty much every single day, multiple times a day. We also give draft coverage, free agency, the whole 9 yards. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon. Just know in advance, we are a fan-driven show. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily. So if you're looking for that type of content, hit like, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future shows. Let's get into it as we've got the latest around the defensive coordinator search for the Green Bay Packers. And I got to be honest, man, I try to steer clear of stuff like this until there's like a true interview and whatnot. So take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if Jim Leonhard's going to be their next DC. I have no inside information, right? You guys understand that if you watch the show consistently. But this just feels a little bit different. You now have multiple people talking about Matt LaFleur wanting to interview Jim Leonhard, which explains why he didn't jump on Christian Parker, right? Get him back in for another interview, at least get it scheduled. Who knows? Maybe that kind of sparks other teams to push in a little bit too quick on a candidate that maybe you weren't as interested in that you've shown. We've got Durante Jones as obviously a interview set up there if it hasn't already happened. Jonathan Gannon, I believe, interviewed yesterday and is interviewing today, or interviewed today and is interviewing again tomorrow. They got 2 interviews set up with him. He may be the top choice, right? Al Harris obviously interviewed yesterday on Wednesday, I believe it was. So 2 days ago, if I remember correctly. So you've got 3 candidates: Durante Jones from Minnesota, Jonathan Gannon from Arizona, Al Harris from Chicago. All 3 set up interviews if they haven't already had them. Jim Leonhard, however, is the interesting one. Now, you guys, let's go back to January 17th. It's the 23rd today, so 6 days ago. Ed Werder put a tweet out and really kind of piqued everybody's interest. He quote tweeted Parker Gabriel. Parker Gabriel said, perhaps worth noting that Broncos secondary coach Jim Leonhard turned down the Packers DC job under Matt LaFleur in 2021 because he figured at the time he'd be at Wisconsin for the long haul. Okay. Many people say he turned the Packers down because he didn't want the job. He turned the Packers down because he didn't want to be a Green Bay Packer. And the Matt LaFleur haters will say he turned the job down because he didn't want to coach for Matt LaFleur. It was just simply he wanted to go back to Wisconsin. That was the plan. He ends up at Illinois State, if I remember correctly, as well. And now it seems like things have probably changed. Obviously, he goes to Denver. He's their passing game coordinator. And now he gets a chance to potentially come back home to Wisconsin. That would be wild. Ed Werder quote tweeted Parker Gabriel's tweet there. And Ed Werder said Packers could be contenders for former Wisconsin DC Jim Leonhard if current Green Bay defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley is hired as head coach. Obviously, that happened. Why did Ed Werder put that out? What's he hearing? Is he hearing something out of 1265? Is he hearing something from maybe Jim Leonhard's agents camp? Now, we know you can't tamper with coaches and this and that. Let's not kid each other. It's 2026. We know there's backdoor channeling going on, right? We know that his agency has probably got clients that have worked with the Packers before or worked with any other team before. They're probably, hey, yeah, I think he's looking to be a DC. He's looking to move from Denver. That could be the case, right? Again, strictly speculation. However, Jason Wilde earlier this week made it sound like he heard out of 1265 that they are very, very interested in Jim Leonhard. He's talked about it all week, right? Well, now you had Rob Demovsky go on the Wildy and Tao show. What did he say? Quote, I don't think anything happens, talking about the defensive coordinator hiring process with the Packers. I don't think anything happens until Matt LaFleur can talk to Jim Leonhard, end of quote. All right, that was Rob Demovsky on Wildy and Tausch. So now you've got Ed Werder that put that just random tweet out 6 days ago. You had Jason Wildy talking about stuff he's hearing in and around the building. And now you have Rob Demovsky, who covers the Packers for ESPN, saying, hey, I don't think they're going to move forward with anything until they can talk to Jim Leonhard, see if he wants to be the DC. This feels like it's got some real legs, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm excited about it. Again, I was hesitant the last coaching hire cycle, the last cycle. I was a little hesitant as a fan because I'm like, look, if he wasn't a former Wisconsin Badger, would we be as excited about him, right? And keep in mind, I'm not like a diehard Badger fan. I pull for the Badgers because I got a lot of Badger fans that watch the show, people I've become friends with. So obviously I want my buddies' teams to do good, my buddies' schools, their alma maters, all that to do well, right? So I didn't have any emotional tie. So I'm looking at it like, all right, he hasn't coached at the NFL level yet, Let's hold off on that. Well, now things have changed. He's the passing game coordinator on defense for the Denver Broncos. They have one of, if not the best passing defenses in the league. You've seen that secondary take another step forward. Very, very interesting to kind of take into consideration what Jim Leonhard could potentially bring to the table. Again, there's a lot of things to like about him. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm going to run back through it because I know we got a lot of new subs in the last few days. Just a little history on Jim Leonhard, all right? You can find this over in our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Jim Leonhard, legendary figure in Wisconsin sports history and one of the most respected defensive minds in the game, currently the assistant head coach and defensive passing game coordinator for the Denver Broncos, is a primary candidate for the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator opening following the departure of Jeff Hafley to the Dolphins in January of 26. Below is the chronological breakdown of his playing and coaching career. So he was in the league from 2001 to 2014. Leonhard is famously known for his journey from an unheralded walk-on to a decade-long NFL starter. What do we call that? Overachiever. What do we call that? Tough as nails. What do we call that? Hard-ass worker, right? In college, from 01 to 04, he played at the University of Wisconsin. He joined the team as a walk-on and became a three-time first-team All-American. He tied the school record with 21 career interceptions and set the Big Ten record for career punt return yards at 1,347 yards. In the NFL, he goes to the NFL in 2005, despite going undrafted. So again, he was under scouted, I think you would say, right? Underappreciated in college, going into the college ranks as a walk-on. And despite going undrafted, so he goes undrafted into the league. He played 10 seasons. Is that correct, guys? So make sure that AI did not screw this up in doing this deep dive AI search. Was Jim Leonhard really a walk-on? Or not a walk-on, but undrafted? Let's see here. Jim Leonhard. I gotta do this on the fly just to make sure, man. It's the first time I've seen this in these deep dives we've done. It may be inaccurate. Let me double check here. Draft pick. Let's see what it says here. Undrafted, boys. Jim Leonhard went undrafted in 2005 and then goes on to be a 13-year vet. Am I looking at that right? Absolutely wild, man. The more that I dig into Jim Leonhard, the more that I read into his background, the more I like about him. It's just wild. So, NFL career, despite going undrafted, he played 10 seasons in the league. I apologize. 10 seasons in the NFL, appearing in 142 games from 05 to 07 with the Buffalo Bills, made the roster as the only undrafted rookie in 2005. In 2008, the Baltimore Ravens, he started 13 games and reached the AFC Championship. In 09 to 11, he went to the New York Jets and reunited with Rex Ryan. You guys know Rex Ryan was the DC in Baltimore. He gets the head coaching job at the Jets. Who did he bring with him? Jim Leonhard. All right. He started 40 games there. In 2012, went to the Denver Broncos. 2013, back to the Buffalo Bills. And then in 2014, the Cleveland Browns. That wrapped up his career, right? Now, let's go to coaching career at the collegiate level. From 2016 to 2023, after retiring from the NFL, Leonhard returned to his alma mater and quickly established himself as an elite coordinator. So in 2016 with Wisconsin, he was a defensive backs coach in his first year, I should say. The unit ranked second in the FBS in interceptions with 22. Now, from 2017 to 2022, he was promoted to the defensive coordinator. at the University of Wisconsin. During this 5-year span, the Badgers defense ranked first nationally in total yards allowed and third in scoring defense. He was a finalist for the Broyles Award in 2017. And 2022, they had to move on from their head coach. So he served as the interim head coach for the final 7 games of the season. He led the team to a 4-3 record and got them bowl eligible that year. And then in 2023, he goes to Illinois. That's what it was, Illinois, not Illinois State. Illinois served as a senior football analyst for the Fighting Illini. So again, you're seeing a guy, he was, under-scouted coming out of high school, walk-on athlete, had a phenomenal college career, overachieved. He's undrafted going into the NFL. He plays 10, 11 seasons, however many it ended up being, and goes on to be a great NFL player. Under-scouted, right? Underappreciated. He overachieved there. He goes to Wisconsin. I don't think anybody was expecting him to be an awesome coach, a great coach, right? He overachieved at Wisconsin. And then he jumps into the NFL in 2024, last year. Leonhard made a highly successful return to the NFL ranks on Sean Payton's staff in Denver. So the Denver Broncos in 2024, he was a defensive backs coach and passing game coordinator. He played a pivotal role in Patrick Surtain II winning the 2024 NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. Denver Broncos 2025 to present. He was promoted to assistant head coach this year while retaining his role as the defensive passing game coordinator. In the 2025 season, Leonhard's pass defense emerged as a top 3 unit in the NFL, helping the Broncos reach the AFC Championship game, which we will get to watch this weekend. Now, here's the thing. That's going to be, I'm trying to think of what day that is on. Both of them are on Sunday. So that'll be the 3 p.m. Eastern game on Sunday. Patriots at the Broncos. Now, listen, the Broncos, they're going to have to win it with defense. Obviously, it's Jared Stidham is going to be their starting quarterback. So what I'm going to be focused on, I don't know about you guys, I'm going to be focused on that pass defense against the New England Patriots. I want to know what that Denver pass defense looks like. Win, lose, or draw, because they're without their starting quarterback. You have proper expectations there, right? But win, lose, or draw, I'm going to be kind of focused on that. And I heard Rob Demovsky talking about this earlier today. You keep hearing me say, I think they can actually interview him during the week off for the Super Bowl. Rob Demovsky saying he can't find anything in the fine print anywhere within the rule book as well. I want to say that the current coaching staff has to grant permission. I'm not 100% sure. We will see. So there's a chance that if they win, we may have to wait on the interview. However, if the Broncos lose, the interviews will ensue, right? It's going to be really, really interesting to see how all that unfolds after watching that playoff game, for sure. So again, man, you're talking about a guy who's overachieved everywhere he's went. This is, I think this would be a slam dunk hire. And you know what? We may look up in 3 years and go, he wasn't a good DC. Maybe that's his peak, passing game coordinator, defensive backs coach. Maybe that's his peak. But history suggests this dude is going to overachieve in everything he does. I'm sure it's grit, it's work ethic, it's understanding of the game. The other thing that I love that he brings to the table, which we kind of already talked about a little bit, is the fact that he has player experience, right? I think that goes hand in hand. I think that's huge for current players in the league. I think they want to take orders from a guy who's been in the trenches. If there's a player that comes into the league and they're a first-round pick or whatever, and they're like, oh, yeah, I don't have to work, whatever. Look at what I had to do. I was undrafted and spent 10 years in the league. How long you been in the year? How long you been in the league, bub? That's an approach you can take. If you've got guys on the roster that are 5th, 6th, or 7th round picks or even undrafted, guess who can connect with them? It's Jim Leonhard. There's just a lot of things to appreciate. So again, when you narrow down the coaching interest, I guess you could say, Matt LaFleur has shown interest in Christian Parker. He's now the DC in Dallas. And I've seen a lot of people raking Matt LaFleur over the coals. He drug his feet. He should have hired Christian Parker. Maybe that wasn't the top choice, right? Durante Jones, passing game coordinator for Minnesota. Jonathan Gannon, former head coach for the Arizona Cardinals. Al Harris, passing game coordinator for the Chicago Bears. And Jim Leonhard, it sounds like he's going to get an interview right out the gate. We're not going to be the only team after him. But again, if you guys will go back and watch the video from earlier today, that Pete Doherty, the video I put up talking about Pete Doherty's article, where it's basically he was able to extract the information, whether it came from Hafley or someone else in the building. They paid Hafley $4 million, and they also paid a $1 million buyout out of his BC job contract. Okay, so we are spending big money on defensive coordinator. If we get into a bidding war for Jim Leonhard, I'm kind of liking our chances, because if there's one thing that Green Bay's shown, over this last coaching cycle, whether you like Rich Bisaccia or not. Rich Bisaccia it's rumored that Rich Bisaccia is the highest paid special teams coordinator. And obviously he's the assistant head coach of the team as well. So Mike Hebring with the super chat. Leonhard has already been interviewed by Boys Jets. Boys Jets. Not sure what that did. He mean New York Jets maybe? Let me see here. Cowboys and the Jets have already interviewed him. Really? Where did you hear that at, Mike? They interviewed Jim Leonhard already in the process? That's very interesting because I didn't think they could do that. I mean, I guess if their team grants that, are you talking about Leonhard? I mean, he said Leonhard, yeah. So thank you for the super, Mike. I'll dig into that, man. We'll definitely double check that. That's wild to think about. So if he's saying that he's already interviewed with the Jets and the Cowboys, you talking about this cycle or virtual interviews? Got that. Okay. Yeah, of course. There's a lot of virtual interviews going on behind the scenes for sure. Absolutely. It's the in-person stuff is when the rubber kind of meets the road, right? There's a lot of testing interest. If the coaching staff that he's currently a part of will grant it. So that makes sense. Thank you for buttoning it up, United Bates. I was like, what? How did I miss that? When did he fly into New York or to Dallas to interview? So appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat, Mike. So there you go, guys. Just want to give you a quick update on what Rob Demovsky says. Seems like there's a lot of smoke to this fire. I'm curious to know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you're watching this video back later. How do you feel about Jim Leonhard? Are you as high on him as other folks? I'm going to put a poll question up as well on X, okay? And the next live stream we do will probably be tomorrow. We'll see how everything shakes out. I got dinner plans and stuff tonight, but we'll put a poll question up. I want to know who would be your top choice, Durante Jones, Jonathan Gannon, Al Harris, or Jim Leonhard. Those four, again, Durante Jones from the Vikings, Jonathan Gannon from the Cardinals, Al Harris from the Bears, and Jim Leonhard from the Broncos. You guys can throw it in the comments as well as you're watching this back later. Let me know which one of those four you would pick for your next defensive coordinator spot, and we'll wrap it up right there. If you guys would do me a big favor, spin those laces, hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future live streams. We'll be back definitely tomorrow, possibly tonight if news breaks, to bring you all the latest Packer news. Appreciate everybody in the live chat. You guys are awesome. And yeah, Paige and Dr. Crutch, you stay warm up there as well. All right. It's a doozy hitting the whole country, sounds like, right? So everybody stay safe out there. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
There we go. We're out.
Bye, guys.